Hello, Blizzard fans! This is FalconPaladin coming to you with a Legacy of the Void Beta Balance Update Preview, dated June 12th. This is from the SC2 blog, posted on us.battle.net, and I figured my viewers would want to see upcoming changes to the LotV beta, so let's get right into it. Pretty good, awesome graphic of a stalker being warped in or created or something. I really have no idea. But they say, before we talk about specific changes coming in the next balance patch, we'd like to cover a few topics. Basically, they say we're changing little things in reference to the big picture. There's not a whole lot that's really important here. Just says the changes are profound when you compare Heart of the Swarm to the current state of LotV. We're going to do even more changes and make sure they work well before we fully release. The other thing is Archon mode has an update here because they found a lot of people have trouble with communication with the shared units in Archon mode. If you haven't played Archon mode before, basically there's 2 players per race, like per team. So you have a Terran versus a Zerg. 2 people control the Zerg, 2 people control the Terran. And it can be kind of hard to say who's going to defend against drops, who's going to attack. Like maybe somebody's heading out with an army across the map, but their team member wants to grab some of those units to defend back home, and who actually decides how that's going to work. So basically what they say is when you select units and use the Alt number command, those units are added to that number's corresponding control group and are then removed from other control groups. So you can take them from someone else's control group. It's recommended to actually have voice chat on so you can talk to your teammate about what's going on. But either way, that's what that's all about. The minimap improvements. Let's try to go back down again. Basically, they say, we are aware that destructible rocks and towers are not showing on the minimap, which can be confusing, especially on newer maps. So then go ahead and add that, and also do a better job displaying spawn locations more clearly in game, so you know potential places where your opponent can start. So that's pretty fun. Let's get into the fun stuff here, though. Discussing the potential changes we're implementing with the next balance patch. So there's a new Ghost ability. Ghost would gain a new ability that spawns a flying drone on an enemy target. I assume this is not a Zerg drone, but rather like a drone from the military today. Just kind of flies around as a robot. That drone would channel a beam at the enemy unit, reducing its armor by 3. So basically, what they say is this is to help bio armies for Terran deal better with high armor targets. So you could basically drop that on an immortal and drop its armor, all the way down to 0, basically. Depending on what the upgrades are, make it much more easy to kill, and things like that. So pretty interesting change. Also a ghost speed increase, just so they can be better combined with other bio units because they're a little bit slow as is. Individual overlord transport upgrades. So this is something I've actually heard about before. It's just kind of interesting if you could actually upgrade a single overlord to be available to transport and work basically as a medevac that can't heal. Because a lot of people say, well, it's like 200 to upgrade transport for all my overlords and another 100 for speed, and it's just an incredible investment that I could be using for upgrades or more units that I need in the mid game. A lot of pros just don't really bother getting this at all. So they're seeing if giving a single overlord a very cheap transport upgrade will get more drop early options for Zerg, so that's going to be fun to see. The other thing, next thing on the list is a medevac unload delay reduction. So it says, we tried upgrades ranging from providing straight up power in combat to various utility upgrade ideas. We decided to try reducing the unload delay because we feel that medevacs don't need to be buffed in strength in main engagements, but we wanted them loading and unloading in various locations throughout combat or during harassment. I'm not sure if this is entirely necessary. I mean, we see a lot of drops both in HOTS and LotV that are really effective and are hard to defend against and just do a lot of things that are good for the Terran. I don't see how this is going to balance things at all, but we'll have to see if this makes medevacs drops even a little bit more scary. Disruptor damage increased from 145 to 145 plus 55 shields. So again, disruptors aren't very effective in the PvP mirror matchup, which I actually haven't seen, so that makes sense. So we wanted a targeted change that only affects that matchup. So again, there are no other shielded units for Zerg or Terran, so basically just makes them a little bit better against Protoss units. Ravager no longer has the armored flag, so Ravager's a little too fragile, they die a little bit too quickly. We wanted to buff its survivability, so units that do plus damage to armored will not be able to burn down Ravagers quite as quickly. which is nice. Also, Viper Parasitic Bomb ability cost increased from 100 to 125. I actually haven't seen this in any of the LotV games that I've cast, but Parasitic Bomb, basically, the Viper flies in and drops basically a spell on an enemy flying unit, and that unit turns into kind of a radioactive AoE damage thing to its friends. So you drop it on a Mutaflock, and suddenly the Mutaflock explodes. It's pretty crazy. I've seen highlights of this on Reddit, but I've never actually seen it in a game that I've cast. So either way, apparently they're being used a lot, because they see right here, we wanted to reduce the number of parasitic bombs being used per combat situation. So they actually increased the energy cost there, so fair enough. We'll have to see what that changes. Armory ship upgrade costs reduced to match vehicle upgrade costs. So whatever, Terran players can upgrade just the same for vehicles as they do for ships. Anyway, Spore Crawler damage decreased from 15 plus 30 bio to 15 plus 15 bio. So again, that was a change they made a while ago in ZVZ, where Spore Crawlers do a ton of damage to mutas. I mean, tons of damage to mutas. And so basically they want to make them a little bit less good against Mutalisks. So 30 total damage to mutas instead of 45, basically. So that is pretty nice. We'd like to have the option to go Mutalisks in some ZVZ games. So we're reducing that damage on the Spore Crawlers. We're looking for Spore Crawlers to still counter Mutalisks well, but we don't want Mutalisks to be almost never be used in the matchup. You know, I did see Railgun versus Lurker. That was a muta-on-muta game, so I don't know if that was entirely necessary either, but worker count change displays 2 per mineral patch instead of 3 per patch. So while 3 per mineral patch is the max efficiency, 2 workers is optimal in multiplayer games. So they changed that just so people actually get the number of workers, so they only have 2 per patch instead of 3, which makes sense. I mean, again, people never get the full like 25 of 25 that the computer tells them to, so I think everybody's pretty aware of that already. Next thing, Liberator anti-ground search radius indicator is a dotted circle similar to Siege Tank in Siege mode, but the ability startup still displays the animation. So this change is due to performance issues caused by potentially having so many splats in a given spot. Yeah, we've seen that. A lot of Liberators basically dropping a ton of anti-ground defense zones all in the same place. It does look kind of crazy. Apparently it causes some computers problems. So, alright, a pretty small change there. I think I'm most interested, if we head back up here, in the Spore Crawler change, see more Mutalisks. That is interesting. I'd like to see more Parasitic Bomb. I feel like this change will actually make us see less, which is kind of sad. And Disruptors in PvP will be interesting to see, as well as the individual Overlord transport upgrades should be fantastic as well. So, I hope you're as excited as I am to see these changes in Legacy of the Void. Thank you so much for watching my videos. I'll be casting one at least every single day for the next little while. I'm actually going on vacation next week, but because I love you guys, I actually created a buffer. So I will be posting videos from vacation every single day. You will not miss anything. You will not know that I'm even gone. So again, thank you for your support. I really appreciate it. And until my next cast, thank you again for all that you do, and you take care of yourself.